Hello and welcome to Brutally Honest Level Review with your host, NateFH, the Geometry Dash YouTube series where I give my brutally honest review of levels with no sugarcoating. And in this week's video, we will be reviewing Caraspace by AudioVisual. Remember to subscribe for more level reviews and make sure to comment what level you want me to review and I'll pick one out for the next episode. Caraspace by AudioVisual is a 7-star created in 2.2. This level is a remake of AudioVisual's first level, Turtle Smack. What an interesting name. I thought this would be an interesting level to review, as I've also remade one of my own levels. I love when creators remake their own levels, as I find it's a fun way to show and see how creators have improved over time. This also makes Caraspace the first remake I'm reviewing on the channel. As expected, the gameplay in Caraspace is similar to Turtle Smack in how it's laid out, and even some of the ideas are the same as well. Caraspace opens with a slow ball part that doesn't have anything particularly interesting gameplay wise, but does have these long slope structures. Levels should take advantage of warping slopes like this, but I suppose we have been scarred by years of janky slope gameplay from early levels, so it's understandable. This leads into a drop which starts with a part that switches between wave, cube, robot, UFO, and dual ship. The part flows well and is probably the most fun part in the level. However, I don't like these wave sections, as it's a lot harder to control the wave in this kind of gameplay, which makes it feel slightly random. Now, due to this level being a 7-star, it's not that big of an issue, but still would have been a good bit more fun if the waves played like a wave part. I do understand that you might want to stick to how it was originally, but sometimes the original isn't that good. The part after is this cube and ball part. The way the icon moves as it turns into the ball is satisfying with the music. This thing does fall apart a little at the end of the part. Yeah, hey, editing Nate here. So I noticed this visual error when editing, and yeah, this shit's unplayable 0 out of 10. After that is this robot wheel part. This idea was taken from Turtle Smack, and even in Turtle Smack, it was decently executed, but it's done way better in Caraspace. How funny would it have been if Caraspace somehow did it worse than Turtle Smack? Actually, that would just be sad. The part is pretty solid, but a little weird at first with the robot, but you get used to it very quickly. My biggest issue is with the transition out of it. The level doesn't tell you at all the need to go up when entering the ship, so I just tried to hit the green orbs with the ship a few times, which was a bit confusing. But that might just be a me thing. God, I hope it's not. After the wheel part, you get to the UFO and ship part. The UFO section is pretty click-sync heavy. How many times have I had to describe a UFO part as click-sync at this point? The ship portion has basically nothing going on. All you really need to do is stay roughly in the middle of the screen, which isn't really fun. It would have been nice if AudioVisual played with having the player do big dips or curves, or trying to use orbs to make the gameplay more engaging and interesting. The final part is this mini cube that's pretty simple with nothing too crazy going on. It does use a blue orb with the blue portal, which you don't see too often anymore, and it has a small descending section with these yellow orbs, which is pretty fun. The overall style of Caraspace is neo-design, which tends to focus less on detailed designs and more on atmosphere and art, with still a good chunk of design in it. Ironically enough, in 2.1, I wasn't a huge fan of neo-design, but I did warm up to the style over time, and I quite like it a lot. A good chunk of that is due to AudioVisual, because he kinda goes crazy. Caraspace goes for a rainbow space theme with all the astrology and constellation structures, with all the things in the level that have a rainbow effect. In the first ball part, there isn't as much color except in this custom rainbow trail that follows the player. Compared to the later parts on the level, this part doesn't have too much going on as it is a pre-drop, but still does feature some cool things structurally, like these large gears and these rainbow triangle blocks. The drop has this gimmick of going from having a very white background to having a dark space background with more varied block designs. Sadly, the waves of this part are a little weak. The wave parts are a bit empty as they only have the large circular structures and these little gear things. This is resolved later on in the part, as the two halves kind of combine more, but it would have been nice to see from the start. Or you could add more stuff to the waves to keep that part progression. The custom trail does make a return, which is cool. This part also has this rainbow glow that is used in a few other parts across the level, such as the wheel part and the UFO right after. The transition between this and the cube after is very clean. I like how this background extends to the foreground and these small yellow stars that have a line that connects them. It's a nice way to fill in some space, and they contrast well with how colorful the rest of the part is. One kind of weird thing is the way that the background darkens as you transition into the ball. I think it's like this so you can see the large circular structure and the stars here better. I think if the background structure also pulsed white, then it would add some more impact to having the background darken. The part after is my personal favorite of the level. This part really leans into the space portion of the theming quite well. From the block in the background having planets and constellations, to the ground spike things that look like asteroids. The way that the part pulses is also quite nice too. The background speeds up a little and the ground has some beams that move towards the center as well. The transition out of this part is awesome. Having the player fly to the center as the camera zooms out gives a spectacle of you being at the center of the galaxy before everything shrinks and turns white. Wait, Does that mean you just read supernova? The UFO shipwreck has a background similar to the last part, but it has this eclipse effect that goes over it. The rest of the space is filled with these simple blocks and large circular things that also act as slopes. I like the little ring of space dust that the main background piece has. Cool detail. I do think that these blocks might have been able to benefit from a little more detail. Maybe have a line that follows the curve of the block structure or something. After a second title card, because why not, you get to the last part of the level. The constellations that pulse on the main beats of the song are a good touch. I'm sure a few of them are references, but honestly, I'm too lazy to find what they are referencing. This part also seems to lean more into art with the mountains in the background and these star details that come back but now on a string. After jumping over the last jump, the background stops as the end screen pops up. Overall, Caraspace by AudioVisual is a really fun remake with a vibey rainbow and space theme with some sick parts. With all being said, I'll be giving Caraspace a 7.25 out of 10. The thing that really holds this level back is having some less than stellar gameplay. But it's not like most people are spending more than 5 minutes on a 7-star. Wait, what do you mean this is AudioVisual's only legendary?